I remember it like it was yesterday. The sky was painted with streaks of orange and pink as the sun began to set, and there was a chill in the air that told us winter was on its way. It had been weeks since any of us had seen Tyler, and we were getting worried. He was the kind of guy who would vanish for a couple of days, sure, but this was definitely different. His phone went straight to voicemail, and no one had seen him at school. "Let's just go over to his place," I suggested to my friends as we sat on the worn-out couch in my living room, trying to decide what to do with our evening. Mia, always the cautious one, frowned. What if he doesn't want to be found? Lucas, ever the optimist, chimed in. Then at least we'll know he's okay. He's probably just been caught up in some new video game or something. Zoe, who had been quiet, nodded in agreement. "I think we should check on him. It's not like Tyler to be gone this long without a word." So, we set out, the four of us, walking through our small town as the last light of day faded. Tyler's house was on the outskirts, near the woods, and as we approached, something felt off. Even though his house has always been in a creepy area, it still held a laid-back, peaceful energy. So this new feeling had us all feeling apprehensive. The front gate creaked ominously in the wind, and the path to the front door was overgrown with weeds. "Tyler?" I called out as we stepped onto the porch, the wood groaning under our feet. No answer. The front door was slightly open, which was strange. Tyler's family was super careful about locking up. We pushed the door open and stepped inside. The house was silent, the kind of silence that presses against your ears. Dust motes floated in the beams of light that pierced the darkness. It looked like no one had been home for a while. "Guys, look at this," Mia said, holding up an envelope from a pile of unopened mail. The date on it was from over a month ago. We called out for Tyler and his parents, checking every room, but the house was empty of anyone. It almost felt like no one had lived there for years, but we all knew better. That's when we heard it, a noise from the backyard that made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. It was like a whisper, but it was calling my name. It actually sounded like Tyler's voice, if he had been sleep-deprived for decades and was about to lose his voice. We rushed to the back door and peered out into the growing darkness. It was so dark outside that we couldn't tell what had made the noise. But as something moved ever so slightly, we began to notice the thing that had spoken. And that's when we saw it, a figure not quite human, standing at the edge of the woods. Its eyes reflected the little light there was, and it whispered our names again, a sick imitation of Tyler's voice. The thing looked fleshy, but some of its skin looked a little torn and stretched out. Actually, it might not have been its skin. It was wearing it like clothing that didn't fit quite right. And with every sudden twitch it made, little cracking and squishing noises could be heard. I'll be honest, I could barely see the thing, so what I thought I saw might not be what it really was. I will say though, it was a freak of nature. Fear gripped my heart, and it seemed like I was the only one with any courage. Everyone else was stunned, as though they couldn't think anymore. All eyes were glued to the thing that looked like it was about to rush at us at lightning speed. "Run!" I yelled, and we didn't hesitate. We bolted out of the house, not stopping until we reached the safety of the streetlights. While we ran, I could have sworn I heard the creature try to follow behind us, but it must have given up. It let out a mixed blend of voices, all yelling for us to come back. One voice was definitely Tyler's, and it was the last thing we heard from that thing that night. Out of breath, we decided to go to Mr. Henderson's house. He was a retired cop and would know what to do. We told him everything, and he called the police right away. The cops searched Tyler's house and the woods, but they never found him or his family. They've been missing ever since, and no one knows what happened to them. Of course, it seems obvious now what likely happened to them. After some searching, we found out that the monster we'd encountered was likely a skinwalker. We never went back to the house, and at night, when the wind howls, I can still hear that voice calling out to me, trying to lure me back. I'm not foolish enough to try to go against that thing. Tyler would want us to learn from these events and do everything we can to prevent them from ever happening again. If you ever suddenly hear a voice from a friend that's gone missing and you don't see the person, think twice before trying to follow it. These creatures will work against your senses. They're also not afraid of us, and why would they be? They can disappear into the night in an instant and seem to be very strong. And they wear people like clothes until they decide they want to have a new outfit. Please, don't end up being that new outfit. Hope you enjoyed that story, and I'll see you in the next one. See you on the flip side.